Strong communities and strong local news go hand in hand. KUOW is a public good that keeps this community informed and connected. Your support is critical to our work. Don't wait. Join KUOW's winter fundraising drive early and make a difference today. Give now at KUOW.org or on the KUOW app.
Support comes from Pacific Northwest Ballet, presenting the Northwest holiday tradition, the Nutcracker, live and on stage at McCaw Hall through December 28th. The Nutcracker is a journey through a holiday party, epic battle, and falling snow in the land of sweets. Tickets and info at pnb.org.
Hey, I'm Katie Campbell, and this is Meet Me Here, your weekly guide to arts and culture events worth leaving your house for. And this week, we're hitting the books. Because let's be for real, people, books are the best gift you can give. And this holiday season, Seattle bookstores, book aficionados, and our book besties are recommending their best hits and stellar underdogs you will want to give and get. KUOW producer Brandi Fullwood joins me to open the voicemail bag full of all those bookish goodies. Plus, we'll give you tips and tricks for finding the perfect book gifts for your own book besties. That's all coming up in just a second, but first, let me tell you about an event I'm really excited for. The dark is starting to set in around us for the chilly season, but I have a couple of ways for y'all to find the light again. Woodland Park Zoo is celebrating the creatures of our region and the world with Wild Lanterns, a beautiful, immersive display of larger-than-life lanterns. These giant 3D creations are incredible works of art that will delight zoo visitors of all ages, I promise. There's even an area called the Forest Trailhead where you can get a sneak peek at new animals coming to Woodland Park Zoo next year, like red pandas and tree kangaroos. Wild Lanterns is available nightly through January 18th with a few exceptions, so check the website. That includes Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, stuff like that. But if you're looking for something similar, maybe not exactly in the animal kingdom, you could also go for an enchanted walk at the Seattle Chinese Garden. The Astra Lumina exhibit is back this month for its third year in Seattle, offering a luminous 1-mile walk through the garden. Did y'all go to those light shows at your local planetarium as a kid? I did, and the photos of Astra Lumina look like walking through one of those. So take that, Big Dark. You can find ticketing details for Wild Lanterns and Astra Lumina in the show notes. And if you need even more event recommendations, check out the Weekend Warm-Up every Thursday around 12:45 on Soundside on KUOW 94.9. And it drops in this feed every week.
Strong communities and strong local news go hand in hand. KUOW is a public good that keeps this community informed and connected. Your support is critical to our work. Don't wait. Join KUOW's winter fundraising drive early and make a difference today. Give now at KUOW.org or on the KUOW app.
Support comes from Pacific Northwest Ballet, presenting the Northwest holiday tradition, the Nutcracker, live and on stage at McCaw Hall through December 28th. The Nutcracker is a journey through a holiday party, epic battle, and falling snow in the land of sweets. Tickets and info at pnb.org.
Okay, book besties, books are a good gift. A great gift, in fact, and especially for the holidays. And today, we've got Brandi Fullwood in the studio. She's the producer of these very bookish episodes, which is fitting because she's a big reader like me. Hello, Brandi.
Hi, Katie.
So good to see you.
Oh, thanks. It's been so long.
And get you on the mic. I've been wanting this for a while.
Okay, put me in the hot seat.
Heck yeah.
Sell me this pen. Some people may have like a work wife. We're like work book besties.
Yes, exactly. All right, so we've established we both love books, but Brandi, what do you think about giving books as gifts?
I mean, okay, here's what I really think. I think second to wool socks, like smart wool socks, books are probably one of the better gifts you can give somebody.
Yes, I do agree. A pair of socks, especially as an adult when, like, for some reason you can't find it in the budget to just buy yourself some nice new socks. Socks are great, but books, Brandi. What is it about a book? What do you think?
This is a caveat. You have to pay attention to the way someone reads and talks about books. But why I think it's a really good gift personally is I'm forever chasing that feeling I had when I gave my dad this card with a giant hand and a tiny hand. And it was just like overlaid, like, your hands are bigger than mine. Happy Father's Day, something like that. And it made him cry. And I think beyond cards, beyond socks, you can really tug at someone's heartstrings and say, like, I know you, I see you. I want to give you a bunch of words to make you feel stuff. And so I just love books as a gift personally because I like seeing people cry.
Break down. Okay, so if you're a friend of Brandi's, a family member of Brandi's, look out. She's coming for the tears this holiday season. Brandi and I put out a call far and wide to booksellers and aficionados all over Seattle about what books make great gifts. We're highlighting a few book picks in this episode, but you can get the full list of all the holiday bookish recommendations in the show notes. So let's open some mail.
Ruffle, ruffle, shuffle,
Shuffle, ruffle, shuffle.
Oh, let's do this one.
All right, so the first voicemail is from one of my favorite book people in Seattle. It's Stesha Brandon from Seattle Public Library and Seattle City of Literature.
The first one is To the Moon and Back by Eliana Ramage. It is a gripping novel about trauma and the costs of ambition. Its protagonist, Steph, is determined to become the first Cherokee astronaut, and it's about the things that shape us and how we move forward from them. It's just really, really great. Another book that I've been recommending a ton is Perfection by Vincent Latronico. And I've been recommending this because it's a snapshot of the hidden costs of living our lives online. Anna and Tom are freelance digital creatives who spend the book wrestling with the rootlessness that lifestyle can create.
Okay, so two really exciting recommendations from Stesha. She's always got good stuff for me. Mm-hmm. So first, we've got To the Moon and Back, and we've got Perfection. But let's start with To the Moon and Back. Brandi, I don't know about you, but I saw this thing all over book lists this year. It looks like Stesha is not the only one who is stoked on To the Moon and Back. This sounds like a really fascinating take on your classic astronaut story. There's been a lot of great speculative fiction in the last few years about going to space looking for solutions to issues on Earth, but I've not seen any native representation in those stories. Not really. Not that that springs to mind anyway. So I'm excited to kind of see this fresh take on a perspective or a story that we've seen a lot of.
Looking into this book, I also really enjoyed the multi-generational plot line. And so it made me think, is this going to be a book for fans of Anne Patchett if you love family drama or something like that?
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, yes. The Anne Patchett family drama kind of vibe would work so well for my sister-in-law, I think. I think she could get really down with that. But To the Moon and Back also may make a great book club read. So I would suggest maybe scooping up a few copies for yours. All right, let's move on to Perfection, which, Brandi, I believe you're reading.
Yeah, I'm actually almost done with Perfection.
Amazing.
This has also been on a lot of lists.
It was longlisted for this year's National Book Award for Translated Literature. It was also on the short list for the International Booker Prize. So I'm on board for this one. Also, anything that's described as a quote-unquote scathing novel about contemporary existence, yeah, I'm down. I'm super into it.
One of those tasty topics of like what's wrong with millennials and Gen Z flattening culture. And it's exactly that. I really appreciate for this book that it has this kind of theatrical stage opening where it feels like what your eyes do on Instagram, but super slowed down. This is the kind of book that I would give to people in my life who haven't read it already, like culture writers, self-reflective expats, and maybe just your friend who thinks that they want to move to Berlin when maybe they shouldn't.
Excuse you. I should move to Berlin. I belong there. It's also apparently Vincenzo Latronico's first book to be translated into English.
From Italian.
From Italian, thank you. So that's really exciting. I'm a big fan of translated works. I think we're seeing a lot of great stuff happening in that realm. My boyfriend Drew will likely be getting a copy of Perfection. So Drew, I hope you somehow had the foresight to turn this podcast off 10 seconds before I said that.
Get out of here, Drew.
Get out of here, Drew.
Which, like, speaking of, Katie, how do you pick out a book for someone else?
It's really hard. I'm a person who has over 500 books on her TBR. It's hard enough to pick a book for myself that sometimes it's hard for me to pick a novel for someone. I really like to give books that I just don't think people will buy for themselves. I love a coffee table book for somebody, something big format, something like kind of pricey that I think says, I know your taste. I know that you will enjoy this beautiful book of brutalist architecture. That's for Drew again. But I know you're not going to spend $60 on it. I will buy this for you. Or something kind of sweet and meaningful. I was just thinking about, like, what are the books I've bought multiple times for people? And I've bought The Hill We Climb, the inaugural poem by Amanda Gorman, multiple times. And it's a beautiful bound book. It's small, it's yellow, it's got a lovely little illustration. And we can all use a little dose of hope. Here you go. Here's The Hill We Climb. So that's kind of the stuff I turn to. But what about you, Brandi?
I do a wild amount of research and pondering, thinking about what this person might like, what they don't have. Sometimes it's really helpful if, they have Storygraph or Goodreads. You can snoop around and see what's on the TBR. Mm-hmm. Like if someone has been really into horror, I try and find something that might match that. But what about horror? What themes in horror have been really resonating with the person? And so, spoiler. That's what I've been thinking about this year for a special someone in my life.
Oh, thank you.
The best case scenario for people who read a lot like you, which are a lot of people in my life, is I try to go for small press. Yeah. Because the chances of someone having that book are much lower. To me, it feels like the curation level you might get from a bookstore seller because it's from their personal taste. So I try and go with that. Well, do you want to get into the second voicemail?
Yes, please. This one is from Isabel Cañas, a local horror author.
One of my favorite books of all time is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. Though it is a young adult fantasy featuring a love story between an orphaned librarian and a half-god who shouldn't exist, I recommend it and gift it to readers of all ages and genres, for it asks a hard-hitting central question. Is reconciliation possible after a devastating war? It's a sweeping tale full of wonder, deep feeling, and the most tooth-achingly romantic yearning you have ever read. It's perfect for any fantasy reader on your list.
I actually know exactly who I would give this book to.
Oh, tell me.
A lot of the people in my partner's family love a book with a big question that helps us navigate the feelings we have today.
Yeah.
And I think something that might be a little bright, might be hopeful, and might grant us the ability to see into a future that looks better.
Yeah. Without maybe making it so explicit, it leaves room for interpretation across the ages in a really interesting way. Also, I've got to say, this is so Isabel Cañas. As soon as she said tooth-achingly romantic, I mean, anybody who's read her books knows that is her vibe. I also looked up this book, and one of the things that stood out to me was a lot of readers were describing it as deeply sumptuous and just really appealing to the senses, that this author really took time to build this world and bring you into it. That can be a selling point for me, or a not selling point, whatever the opposite of a selling point is when it comes to adult fantasy. I sometimes feel like there's so much focus on the relationships, on the characters, which is great. I need character development. But if you're getting into a fantasy world, I need you to spend the time building this world. I think if you're a good enough writer to be able to do that, you're going to get me in on the story. So I was very glad to see readers specifically commenting on the world building and that it seemed to be inviting. So, that works. All right. Should we get the next one?
Yes.
All right. This one is from Ronan Leshley, an organizer with the Queer Silent Book Club Seattle.
One book that I'm really looking forward to reading is a recent release called I'll Make a Spectacle of You by Beatrice Winifred Iker. It's an Appalachian horror novel set at an HBCU. There's some sort of cult activity happening and also some strange goings-on in the woods. I would recommend it to anyone who likes dark academia, which is a genre I really love. And I'm really excited to see what it says about institutional violence and racism. And also, it's perfect for fans of horror who are not looking to read any holiday romance.
Ugh, is that you?
Oh, it's extremely me. This immediately appeals to me on a number of levels. What do you think? Is this a book that you would read, or is this something you would give to somebody else?
I actually think this is a book that I would read, and based on the cover is not one that I would have known about immediately, but based on the description is fully up my alley. I get that dark academia is supposed to be this internet aesthetic that is all about the classics, all about European style schools. Elitism. It's very gothic, very preppy and moody. It's very accidentally going to Yale for the vibes. But the setting of Appalachia is really interesting to me.
I love horror in all kinds of weird corners. I don't know that I've ever read a horror from Appalachia. That kind of shocks me. That feels like it would be a perfect space for it. Like, there's so much misunderstanding about that region. There's so much looking down on it that it seems right for a horror story. So I wanted to know a little bit more about this author, about the story, and I found an Ask Me Anything on Reddit that she actually did. And in this case, someone asked a little bit about what it was about the region that made Beatrice want to write about it. And she said, being a Black Appalachian, I wanted to mix Zora Neale Hurston's passion for preserving Black folklore with my own interest in Black Appalachian stories. While researching local colleges in Northeast Tennessee, I found that Appalachian studies is a fairly common degree. See East Tennessee State University and Appalachian State University below. So it felt like a natural fit for my main character's academic path, studying Appalachian studies. So that tells you a little bit about how we get into that kind of horror, that folklore, and about Beatrice's own experience in the region. So I'm already in. This person knows what she's talking about and feels fully immersed, has done the research to bring this horror story to life.
I feel even more excited to read this book and gift this book. I love that there is this really apparent blend of folklore and autofiction. Really, honestly, just like a really beautiful choice and something that I wouldn't have thought of before. So, yeah, I appreciate that one.
Yeah. All right, let's get another one in here. This one is from Marnie Chua over at the Clarion West Writers Workshop.
I'd love to recommend Archangels of Funk by Andrea Hairston. Whether or not you love dystopian futures, read this book and thank me later. This is a simultaneously beautiful, fun, and stark take on how we can save ourselves and those around us. Also, this book had me at Circus Robots.
I, too, am fully taken by Circus Robots. That sounds funny.
So Archangel of Funk is an Afrofuturist sci-fi book. It's set in a post-Water Wars world. Honestly, try saying that a few times. So there's lots of sci-fi themes. It's dystopian, there's survival, there's perseverance, there's cyberpunk. And I feel like a lot of people would be into getting this book.
I would buy myself this book. I'm a huge Octavia Butler fan, mother of Afrofuturism. I've been really fascinated to see the way her work has inspired the genre and the way Afrofuturism has grown since she passed. Just based on the description that you just gave me of Archangels of Funk, I am stoked to read it. So yeah, I'd buy it for myself.
Of course. But the thing that I wanted to point out is that this book came out in 2024. So, signaling to you, listeners, you don't always have to give people a book that just came out this year.
Yes.
The TBR list is long, and I can tell you that there are things on my list that I have not gotten around to reading yet. You can always get someone a book that's from yesterday.
Yeah, and because you also never know when they're going to come back into the zeitgeist. Like, what's the book that we've heard probably the most on the show this year? It's been I Who Have Never Known Men. Jacqueline Hartman's book has been on all of the lists this year, but it came out in the 90s. Its original French version was in 1995, and then the English edition was 1997. And it has just like skyrocketed to popularity this year. It's been really fascinating to watch.
Well, we've got one last voicemail.
Fabulous. This one is from Danny Scholl, another organizer with the Queer Silent Book Club Seattle.
I'm recommending Hild, a historical novel by our own Seattle author, Nicola Griffith. Reading Hild feels like slipping into a dream you could swear you've had before, at once hauntingly familiar and utterly strange. But Hild is gentle and bloodthirsty, wise and rash, imperious and afraid, and lots of other things. She is a force. She has to grapple with her own complex nature and the role she must play, like so many women, to protect herself and her people. But unlike many women, she has the power to alter fates, her own and her people's. Hild is also queer, and reading Hild and its sequel, Meanwood, gave me some of the courage I needed to come out as queer too. I would say give yourself time to savor this book like you might a delicious cup of tea. It's absolutely worth the time.
Okay, well, thanks, Danny. I'm going to cry.
Yeah, don't mind me over here.
I see this book as being really great for the history lovers out there. And the cool thing about this book is that there are only a few paragraphs out there in the world about Hild, this real-life historical figure.
Right.
But the author has stretched out the history, the setting, by doing research and turned it into a tome. The book's like 550 pages or something like that. And I think that kind of energy really speaks to a lot of history lovers out there, and maybe just someone who really wants to read local.
Ooh, yes. I love a Seattle author. I run the KUOW book club. We pick books from Seattle and from the Pacific Northwest region. I think we have so many talented writers in this region, and these writers tend to be so atmospheric and kind of twisted in a really fun way. I say that with love. Danny used the words hauntingly familiar and utterly strange. Like, that feels right for this region. I'm definitely excited to read this. So this is another one that came out a few years ago. This is actually from 2013. It got a stellar review by NPR. It was really beautiful just to read the review, and I'm super stoked on this. I want to read it.
No, totally. Also, Danny ticked my box of finding a book that you can give to someone and tell them why it resonates. And make them cry. So
again with the crying. I'm so afraid. Okay, we got one more thing for you. You know that feeling when you talk about gifting books and the ways you want to give a book? Well, I got you a book. Surprise.
Oh, well, surprise to you back, because I got you a book.
What? It's almost like we planned this. Wrestle. All right, how are we doing this? Are we opening them at the same time, or do we do it one at a time?
I think one at a time.
Okay, who's going first?
You open yours first.
Oh, no. Okay, fine. All right. Okay, it's from Elliott Bay.
So I went on a hunt trying to figure out what book does this person with a 500-book TBR want, need, could like. And I try to hone in on the things that you've said that you've really appreciated about this year, which is translated literature, which is horror, specifically climate fiction.
Yeah.
And in your most journalistic setting, you kind of like a book that has parallels to today.
Yeah.
And found this book, which is translated from French.
Ooh.
It's beloved by Canadians everywhere.
Okay, hey, holla.
And I hope you like it. I hope you haven't read it. That was my biggest fear. Take a leap of faith.
Let's do the big reveal. I have not read this yet. Hey! I've heard of this book. I have not had a chance to read it. Horsefly by Mireille Gagné, translated by Pablo Strauss. In 1942, a young entomologist, Thomas, is sent to a remote island to work on biological weapons for the Allied military. I'm in. Ooh. The scientists live like prisoners, double in, while they produce anthrax, oh no, and look for the perfect virus carrier among the island's many insects. Oh, heck yeah.
I cracked open the book, and it opens from the perspective of this sexy horsefly who is stalking the main character in present day because she's lusting to eat his flesh.
That's absurd, and I love it so much.
Like, it is going through all of these different perspectives. So there's lots of twisting narrative.
Amazing.
So it's never singular, which I've heard you say if a book is too singular, it's been really hard to focus on it unless it's an audiobook. So I was like, what seems like it really couldn't work as an audiobook?
Amazing.
That might hold your attention. A really delicious think on how the environment will always come back to destroy us.
You know me so well, Brandi. I am so excited for this book. I'm going to take this on my vacation later this month and probably be vaguely horrified, which is exactly what I like in a book. Yay! Brandi, before you open yours, I have to tell you that my gift to you was inspired by a book recommendation you made to me earlier this year. That was Butter by Asako Yuzuki. Kind of exploring female relationships through food, but also like murder. So you know me very well. And I really enjoyed Butter. So then I picked up this book that I'm giving you today. It was the perfect chaser to Butter. Mm-hmm. It was very much about female friendship, about living deliciously, about learning to love yourself through your female relationships, which I think is really beautiful. Like, it can be really easy to love or forgive something about a friend that you maybe struggle with in yourself. I feel like this book did a really good job of exploring that dynamic. It was fabulous. And I couldn't stop thinking about you. And so I got you a copy.
That's so sweet.
Yes.
To know me is to know I love a character that makes you go to the edge of empathy.
Yes. And that is what this does. So yes, let's have an opening. Please open it.
Okay. Melissa Broder's Milk Fed.
Yes.
Okay, I'll read the back. Rachel's a 24-year-old Lapsed Jew who has made calorie restriction her religion. Working as an underling at a Los Angeles talent management agency, she maintains an illusion of existential control by way of obsessive food rituals. Rachel is content to carry on subsisting until her therapist encourages her to take a communication detox from her mother, who raised her in the tradition of calorie counting. Woof! Yeah. Rachel soon meets Miriam, a Zaftig young Orthodox Jewish woman who works at her favorite yogurt shop. Rachel is suddenly and powerfully entranced by Miriam, by her Sundays and her body, her faith and her family. And as the two grow closer, Rachel embarks on a journey marked by mirrors, mysticism, mothers, milk, and honey. So first of all, thank you so much for this. I'm admittedly a really hard person to get books for, but I really appreciate that this book is tied to the conversations that we've been having and the way that I read and the way that I think about food and friendship, losing yourself, trying to find yourself. It's really nice. And from local bookstore, Queen Anne Book Company.
Yes, it is. There we go. Well, people, I think the main message here is just get out to the stores, get some holiday shopping done, and support your local bookstores. We have so many phenomenal bookstores here in Seattle in particular, so make sure you get out to them. Like, they have incredible selections and really knowledgeable booksellers, like folks that you heard from today, who can help you find the exact right gift for your loved ones this year.
It is in your own self-interest to fall in love with a reader.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. I think about that line from the Big Thief song a lot. Like, I see you as you see yourself through all the books you read. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, go out and see some people.
Yeah, see some people. See yourself in the books that you read.
Yeah, and then buy them for those people
and
make them cry.
All right. On that note, thanks for listening to Meet Me Here. Meet Me Here is produced by KUOW, a proud member of the NPR network. It's hosted by me, Katie Campbell, Dyer Oxley, and Jeannie Yandel. And it's produced by Brandi Fullwood, Kyle Norris, and Matt Martin. You can find more and support the show at kuow.org/meet. You know the drill, y'all. Let's meet up again.
On the latest Sound Politics, stop me if you've heard this one. The state is facing a budget gap, a big one. Democrats want to raise taxes to fill it. The governor doesn't.
That does sound like what happened earlier this year when the governor said he did not want to raise taxes, and then he flipped and signed a big old tax hike through anyway.
Is it going to play out the same way next year? We'll talk about it on the latest Sound Politics, wherever you get your podcasts.